Hi there, dear students. So this is the lesson number 2. It is going to be about the scope of psycholinguistics. So the aim of psycholinguists is to find out the structures and processes which underlie humans' ability to speak and understand language. So this is like the scope of psycholinguists. You need to find out what are the processes that are involved in humans' ability to speak and understand language. Okay, what happens in that? So the psycholinguists are not necessarily interested in language interaction between people. So they are trying above all to probe into what is happening within individuals. Okay, so psycholinguists uh, they're not interested in language interaction between people. Okay, how people communicate, how they convey meaning, etc. But what happens in each individual, the mind of each individual, as it as it's at its heart, at its heart, psycholinguistic work consists of two questions: what language of what knowledge of language is needed for us to use language? What do we need to use language? What is this knowledge that we need to have to use language? And what processes are involved in the use of language? Okay, what are these mechanisms and processes that are involved when we use language? So these are the main two questions that are, at the bottom of psycholinguistics. All right, so let's move on. So concerning language, we have four broad areas of language knowledge. Okay, when it comes to knowledge, these we have four areas. We have semantics, so that is the semantic knowledge. We need the semantic knowledge, which deals with the meaning of sentences and words. We need syntax knowledge, which involves the grammatical arrangement of words within a sentence, how words are arranged in a sentence, how words are put together to form a sentence. Another knowledge, the third one, is phonology, which is concerned with the system of sounds in a language, how sounds are put together. Okay, and then we need pragmatics knowledge. So the fourth is pragmatics, which is about the social rules involved in language use. It is basically about language use, okay, the use of language in society. That's pragmatics. So it is not ordinarily productive to ask people explicitly what they know about these aspects of language. Okay, so we infer linguistic knowledge from observable behavior. Okay, if you ask people what do you have, if you ask people, ordinary people, about these four language knowledge, they cannot really give you anything because they are ordinary people, so they don't know how they know these things, but they don't know how to explain them. But linguists who are, psycholinguists who are really concerned with this stuff, they infer, okay, they infer these things from observable behavior. So they observe people communicate, and they take notes concerning these knowledge of language. So concerning the process question, so which is what are the uh, processes that are involved in the language use. We're talking here about, for example, ordinary use of language, that is understanding a lecture, reading a book, writing a letter, and holding a conversation. So there are some processes that are involved in these situations when you are, for example, as a student, understanding a lecture or reading a book. There are some processes that are involved in these situations. So um, these processes are cognitive. So we have cognitive processes such as perception. So when you understand something, you perceive it. So there is a process of perception that goes on when you use language. Also, memory, when you store the information that you take from a lecture or from a reading a book or from conversation, always some information are stored in your mind. So we have the memory, so that you remember them. And we have thinking. When you think also, there is a process that is at play in such situations. So two possible directions of study in psycholinguistics are language as a way of explaining psycholinguistic theories and processes, that is, language influences memory, perception, attention, and learning. So this is one area of study in psycholinguistics. The other one is the effect of psychological constraints on the use of language. That is, how memory limitations affect language production and comprehension. So these is like two directions of study, two areas of study in psycholinguistics. Thank you very much for your attention and see you in the next video.